Why is my KS0 so freaking hot? What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, I am lucky enough to have two IceRiver KS0s, and this one here is actually provided by the team over at AsicMarketplace.com for today's video, so huge shout out to them. Now, I got one previously, and I think it's the second batch of these units, and I have one major problem with it. It makes some crazy shrieking noises from the fans. Check this out. All right, so that's this guy, and it happens all the time. It just randomly scares me, and I'm actually a little concerned that it might overheat. Now, this guy sounds significantly better. All right, so because I have two of these, I'd like to go ahead and do a comparison between the two of them to see, well, do they perform the same? And what about their operating temperatures? Now, they're different batches, so maybe different fans were used between the two of them. But one thing I want to do is, while I do this, is we'll check that out in just a second. And then I want to dig in and install these. Now, these are NOCTUA NF-A4 10s, 5-volt PWM. So they're 40 10mm fans. And my understanding is the actual original batch of the IceRivers actually came with these guys, which are significantly quieter. So we'll kind of fix these fans, we'll install these. If you guys want a link to what these are and where to find them, I'll put a link directly down below. The second thing I want to do is I want to install this guy. This here is an AC Infinity 120mm USB fan that does have its own controller. So I want to install both sets of these fans on this IceRiver, and then I want to let it run and see, do we get better hash rate because of better cooling? Does my changes make any difference at all, or does it not? And at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun and a little experiment to see, because if it does end up running and getting better hash rate because of better cooling, which in theory it should, some great information for you guys to go ahead and up your hash rate on your Kaspa IceRiver KS0. So let's go ahead, take a look at these as they are right now on the computer, and then we'll take this guy apart. Today's video is sponsored by the team over at AsicMarketplace.com. With crypto mining hardware prices dropping, it's critical to find an online store you can trust with your ASIC purchases. The team at AsicMarketplace.com has you covered with some of the most competitive pricing on the market. No matter what brand you're looking for, Asic Marketplace has it. To name just a few: Bitmain, Goldshell, WhatsMiner, IB-Link, 𝐈𝐜𝐿𝐿, JazzMiner, and many more. There are no surprises with Asic Marketplace. The price listed on their website includes shipping. Imagine that. Finally, Asic Marketplace takes the buying experience to the next level by accepting cryptocurrency as payment directly on their store. Go check out Asic Marketplace today via the link in this video's description down below, as well as save $50 at checkout with the discount code �HOBBYISTMiner. Alrighty, so once again, huge shout out to the team over at AsicMarketplace.com for making this video possible and providing the second IceRiver KS0 for today's video. If you guys do want to go ahead and check them out, I'll leave a link directly down below, as well as a promo code to go ahead and get a discount on their store. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. This is the noisy one, we'll call it. And this one here, I just started up a few minutes ago. But what I want to take a look at is the temperature at the bottom. It's currently 44C, temp 1, and then temp 2 is 53C. Keep that in mind. If I go, so 44, 53. If I look at the second unit, which is the quieter one, it's 40 and 49. So about a 3 to 4 degrees Celsius difference between the two. Now, the noisy one is KS0 IP, and it's 29. The quiet one is IP address 103, it ends in. So if we go over here, we're going to refresh on Kaspa Pool, and let me go ahead and zoom in for you guys. That's where I'm currently mining. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. So what I want to look at is more the 24-hour, because I've unplugged this, I powered it off and on, things like that. 24 hours definitely going to be more accurate on this. So when I look at 29 versus 103. 29 is the top one here at the bottom versus 103. 29 is the louder one, the hotter one. 103 is the cooler one. But if you look at a 24-hour hash rate, the louder one is actually performing 2 gigahash better. So does this throw our theory entirely out the window on the cooler these are, the better they may perform? Maybe. I'm not really sure. Now ignore 3-hour and 30-minute because I've moved these things twice before today's video leading up to it. So I kind of want to ignore those. Let's just focus on 24 hours. So let's go ahead, head over to the table, and let's take this thing apart and install our new fans. All right, let's get this thing slid off. Ooh, okay. Okay, there we go. So, as you guys can see, let's get this a little closer. Here is the fans that we're going to be replacing. We'll just take these off, and then they actually go right into the board here with these 4 pins. So, let me get these uninstalled real quick. All right, so there we have it. These little guys here, look at that. Now the one thing we're gonna have to make sure of is the fact that we do wanna make sure that we point our new fans inward on these. Dude, this is a beast. Whole thing is a giant heat sink, which is nuts. So let's take a look here. Here's the ones that we bought. Here's the exact model. If you're interested, I'll put a link directly down below. Now you have to make sure you get the 5 volt. These are the 40, they're 40, 10 millimeter, 5 volt. If you don't get the right ones, that won't work. All right. So here's our fan, 4 pin, which is definitely what you want. There are some 3 pins out there, 5 volt, 10 millimeter, and PWM is absolutely required. All right, so we got our lid nice and in place, and then you can see a little bit of the cables here in the front. The front plate will take care of that there. So let me get this thing back together, and then we'll take a look at this bad boy right here, which is our 120 millimeter AC Infinity multi-fan. So we'll take a look at this here. So be right back in just a second. Here is a look at how everything turned out, all buttoned up and put back together, which is awesome. So now let's talk about the top here. So, you know, my understanding is after the first batch, you didn't need to install an 120 millimeter fan, but we're going to do it anyway on this unit here, just because we're going to see if that cooling matters. So there are mounts right here on the top for the 120 millimeter fan. Let me show you guys exactly what we purchased. So this is an AC Infinity multi-fan series. It's 120 millimeter. I'll put a link down below if you guys are looking for something like this. So take a look. So this is the unit that'll sit directly on top. There's no RGBs. I know some of you guys are like, oh, I want the RGBs and stuff. I went more for functionality. So rubber we have here, which is pretty sweet. The rubber grommets on there, as well as we do have the cage shielding on both sides of it, which will be nice. So what will happen is, let's grab our unit here. This is going to sit, there's our unit, and this will sit directly on top of the unit. Now, we do have a USB cable that's going to go right here, and then, actually, we'll open this up in a minute, there's a full controller right here. High, medium, and low, and off. So, let me get this installed. All right, so here is how we ended up. We have the AC Infinity 120mm fan mounted to the top. I did end up keeping the guard on the front. I removed the one underneath, and the actual screws here I actually had in my screw bin, which worked out awesome. So they were just deep enough to go through there. I was not able to keep the rubber grommets on. They were too thick for the screws that I had. If I find that it vibrates, then I probably might go out and get some additional, like, different rubber washers there. But I think we'll be actually okay. Now, the cable is a little bit longer than I expected here. So we have a lot of cable here. Plugs in right at the bottom, USB. You actually can plug another USB cable into it if you wanted to. So if you had multiples, you'd be okay. And then here's our controller. We have off, low, medium, and high directly on the controller. So let's see what this looks like here. So we are going to operate with it on its side. I've always been a big proponent of that. Let me go ahead. We're going to plug in our Ethernet. I'm going to keep the fan off for right now. Let's actually turn it around. We'll check our NOCTUA fans on the bottom first. So let me get this plugged in. And both of our fans are running, which is great. They just turned on, and then they turned off real quick there. So we'll give it a minute. They'll most likely power up, which is good. And then on this side is our 120mm fan. Let's take our controller and turn it on. There's on low. Nice little breeze coming from there, which is nice. Let's do medium. You guys might be able to hear it. Let's see. And then here is on high. Pretty decent amount there. Wow. Okay. So let me get let's turn this off for now so it's not too loud. Let me get this one and the other one set up, good to go. And I'm going to let them run for 1 hour total to go ahead, and I was checking to see if they came on yet. And I believe the fans come on when it starts mining. So I'm going to let these run, this one versus the other one, for 1 hour. And I'll see you back here, and we'll see how things go. All right, guys, moment of truth. You may actually hear the fans roaring in the background. Let's go ahead and take a look at our results. So what I did was I came over here. We've been running for almost 2 hours now. If you come into miner settings, right here, you have the option to set the fans at 100%. So I set them at 100% on, and that'll actually be those bottom fans. We'll actually have to use the controller there for the 120mm fan. But here is our problematic, our loud, screechy one right now. 30-minute hash rate on the miner says 91 gigahash. Our temps are 34 and 41. Jumping over to the normal unit that didn't have any issues. Our 30-minute hash rate is 89 gigahash, and we're at 3441. So the temps are exactly the same, regardless of the fact of installing the 120mm fan. So it's kind of null. It doesn't really do anything for us, I mean, I guess maybe peace of mind. Outside of that, on the miner itself, it's a maybe a little bit more of a 1 gigahash, give or take. So it's within that 1% of error, which can come with testing. But let's go to the pool and let's refresh, because that's really what matters. We're over on the pool. 30-minute, take a look at this. Our hash rate on the 29, which is the one we did the additional fans on, stuff like that. We are at 85 gigahash, and the ones with the regular stock ones are at 94. Now, this has bounced around a decent amount. I saw earlier it was like 110 and 100. So I'd love to hear from you guys down below. Are you seeing some of this like crazy amount of hash rate instability with these KS0s on Kaspa? Last thing I wanted to go ahead and point out was, because I know some of you guys will mention it, on the ASIC 29, the one that we made all the changes to with the fans and all, the fan speed at the bottom is about 5,400, but the stock ones, the black ones, were at 7,500, almost 7,600. So the stock ones are significantly faster than NOCTUA ones. NOCTUA ones, though, are quieter, and we don't get that crazy screechiness to it. So what does this tell us? Absolutely nothing. I mean, it should say that, but regardless of the additional 120mm fan, swapping out the fans, we're not seeing any difference in hash rate, not more beneficial, even though we seem like we have some more CFM and airflow flowing through this thing. It's not cooling any better. So I would say the answer to the question of this video is, does adding more cooling to the KS0 give you better hash rate? No, not at all. Last thing I want to mention to you guys, I am giving away one of the AC Infinity 120mm USB fans, and it's real simple and easy to enter. Go ahead and leave a nice comment down below, and we'll pick one of you guys in the next 2 weeks using the YouTube comment picker. I'll take care of shipping, and I'll ship one of these units directly out to you guys. If you want a link to it to read up on it, I'll put a link directly down below. Well, guys, that's going to wrap things up for today. Hopefully you enjoy this impromptu video. Results didn't turn out the way we expected, but that's okay. We had a boatload of fun. If you enjoyed today's video, give it one of these, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.